Hello, and welcome to your last geography project of the year. All right, so this is called the Country Project. And what you are going to do is pick a country, any country except for the United States, and do basically a larger research over that country, like you similarly to what you did for the capital. So a lot of kiddos tend to, or they like to do the country that they did their capital brochure on, because they get a little bit of information from that. But you don't have to. So I'm going to go through a little bit of what you are going to do, and I just put a picture of a trifold poster, and that's really what I would like you to create is a trifold poster of your country. Now, for virtual students, that means that I have trifold posters available to you. You can come and pick up at school and take home, and any other resources that you need, you might need to do on your own. All right. But if you find a different way to do it, if you, for virtual students, doing it on Google Slides might be a better option for you. Okay, so that's doable for sure. But sometimes some people like to work with their hands, so that's why I'm also letting you. I have trifold posters specifically for doing that. Okay, you just need to email me and let me know. Okay, I might put a Google form out there so I'll know exactly how many I need, and I already have them. So just so you know. So you're going to be looking at the following aspects for your country. And this is a merging of all the geographical things that we've been studying at the beginning of the semester and putting them all together. So we're looking at the physical aspects of the country as well as the human aspect of it too. All right. So obviously location is going to be an important part of your poster. But you can't do absolute location because your country takes up a larger space than just one point. So relative location in the continent or in the area that it's at. So the physical parts of that include the climate. What kind of climate would we expect if we went to this country? Any major physical features? Like the first thing I thought of was Japan, and something that's very famous in Japan is Mount Fuji. So that would be a major physical feature. So there's some mountains there. As far as like, if, for example, United States, physical features would be, well, the middle of the United States is like a plain, and then East Coast, Appalachian Mountains on the further on the west would be the Rocky Mountains. So there's actually a lot of different physical features in the United States because it's so large. But if we're talking about, Portugal, which is really small, they may just have one major physical feature. And we're also talking like rivers as well. So if we were talking about China, there are two major, obviously there's more than two rivers, but there are two major rivers that you possibly would point out. Okay. Other things that you're going to look at is population of the whole entire country. What is their government type? Is it communist? Is it a monarchy, a constitutional monarchy? Is it democracy? And how they represent that might be a little different. Some people are republic. So what is the flag of the country? What's their capital? So another thing that we looked at was the gross domestic product. So that's a dollar amount for their GDP, like how much they produce every year, and what is that worth? What resources do they have? So this could be actual physical resources that, like mineral resources, perhaps. Are there any industries that they take part in? Sometimes you'll see a country be really dominant in like chemical industries or mineral industries, auto making industry. That's or tech industries. That's what I'm kind of I'm looking for in that regard. Agriculture, of course. I want to say most countries, but a lot of countries grow a certain kind of crop. What do they produce? Like I think there's some Pacific Islands that specialize in copra, which is like coconut meat. So that's really interesting. So a lot of that is tied to the physical part of the country. The other part I want you to take a look at is their cultural side, the human geography. Of course, the population is going to be part of that, but I want you to take a look at the culture. These are like the traditions and rituals that make the country unique. This could include, okay, music. Sometimes they have distinct music from the country. Food, of course. Holidays, which would be related to probably religious significance or historical events. Do they have any traditional clothing? I immediately think of the Korean traditional clothing, which they may not wear, obviously, but if they are celebrating something, sometimes the traditional clothing comes out. Dances, and I put this in here because I like New Zealand, and the natives there, the original people, the Maori, they have something called the haka, which is pretty incredible. And so, and the Hawaiians, they have a special dance, the hula dance. And so, are there any special dances or, other traditional rituals that they do? What is their religion? And it could be multiple things. Okay. So, and I would say most countries have multiple diverse religions. Not all of them do. Like the United States would have multiple religions. But like if you went to India, you probably would encounter mainly Hinduism and maybe a little bit of Buddhism and some other smaller religions there. You can find percentages. And I'm going to show you a really great website in just a minute that's going to tell you a lot of this information. Same thing with languages. Like if you go to China, you're not going to get Chinese. Okay. So there's actually two different types of Chinese, Mandarin and Cantonese, and it depends on where you are in China. But even within Mandarin, there are so many different dialects that it's like a different language. So when you do your research, make sure you research maybe their national language and then what other languages are spoken. And a lot of times they'll give percentages. Ethnicities mean the different types of groups that live in the country. Like you would think, oh, the Japanese people live in Japan. Yeah, but there might be some other distinctive groups that are not originally from Japan that are also living there. So, other questions that you should answer is why should people move there? What opportunities might be in your country that would attract people to move there? That would be your pull factors, right? And then some countries are in chaos, and there might be some negative reasons why people need or want to leave. These would be your push factors. All right. Quick history, like we did with the capital, and any important sites and attractions. So, like the United States might be rather large, but you could do like the Statue of Liberty, Mount Rushmore, St. Louis Arch, the Golden Gate Bridge. Those would be like iconic things in the United States that would attract perhaps people there. So what in your country is like significant, like Eiffel Tower for Paris? But there are other things in France that you could look at too. So I want you to have some type of conclusion, like why you should visit this place, and maybe other fun facts or cool things that you found that would interest the reader or the viewer of your poster. All right. So ultimately, you're going to be making something like this with the information that I want you to do the research on. Okay. And if you find anything else and that is not listed here that you think is really important to put in there, please do so. This is not an all-inclusive, but these are the things I want you to include. All right. Anything extra? Awesome. Do it. All right. So that is your ultimate goal, is to create a trifold poster of a country of your choosing. Okay? All right, we'll get into some of the details in the next episode.